Having been transferred from a regional branch to the head office, I, a high school graduate, went to greet the female department head, a national university graduate, only to be immediately looked down upon. Places for low-educated and incompetent individuals like you don't exist here. Head back to the countryside promptly. That seat you're occupying is mine from today. Thank you for your service up until now. Huh? After graduating high school, I took the entrance exam and got a job at a local company. There were various reasons for aspiring to join this company, but the main one was its convenient location near my home. Maintaining a good distance from others is one of my strengths. However, the branch I was assigned to is particularly known for its familial atmosphere, making it unnecessary to worry about troublesome interpersonal relationships. The company itself is among the top performers nationwide, with branches across the country. Maintaining the original corporate culture while adapting flexibly to changing times seems to be the secret to this company's long-standing success as a leading enterprise. In this branch, from the top executives to the lower-level employees, there's a shared commitment to the company's overall work ethic. As a result, the colleagues, seniors, and juniors all have good relationships and coordinate well with each other. Thus, work is always done quickly and at a high level. Although I generally get along well with everyone and it's a great company, there's always that one person who I find difficult to deal with, and in this case, it's Lily, who works as the chief manager. She is a subordinate of Travis, a senior executive at the head office, and is among the top candidates for future leadership roles, despite being a woman. She's a bit older than me and has secured her position through sheer talent, outperforming her peers and seniors. Lily is an elite employee who joined a company after graduating from a national university. Aware of her capabilities, she seems to have a competitive nature that overwhelms those around her. Moreover, she's known for her fearless attitude and drive, which have allowed her to ascend a corporate ladder at an unprecedented pace. My discomfort with Lily began shortly after I started working here. When I first joined the company, the entire company's anniversary party was scheduled to be held at our branch. This was because, before moving to New York, this location used to be the headquarters. It seems the venue was chosen due to its historical significance as the original founding place of the company. Despite the busy season, we had to juggle our regular duties with the frantic preparations for the party. However, it was extremely problematic that the head office delayed sending the program details and guest list until the last minute, despite our repeated inquiries. We only received a response a week before the party, forcing us all to prepare after hours. On the day of the party, Travis, one of the president's sons, arrived early at the venue, seemingly to make an early greeting. He was accompanied by his subordinates, including Lily, who was not yet a department head at that time. It turns out that the company has a fair amount of nepotism, especially at the head office, where various factions are vying for succession. Travis and his group, being part of one faction, arrived in large numbers and began to chat in the still being prepared venue, hindering our work. We hoped they would leave soon, but our wishes were ignored until the very end. The turning point was when Travis noticed me and introduced me to his subordinates. Let me introduce everyone. This is Joe, who recently joined us straight after high school. His action seemed to signal the emergence of an unexpected rival to his subordinates. When he stepped away to take a call, they forcibly kept me from returning to my preparations and started offering me drinks. However, I was only 18 and still underage. Despite my polite refusals, they didn't seem to care. What? You can't drink the alcohol we offer? You're quite cheeky, aren't you? Hey, bring some snacks over here. Leave that for later. They continued to be a nuisance, starting a drinking party and disrupting the place even though we were still in the middle of preparing. They went as far as stopping people from working and coercing them to join in, doing whatever they pleased. Completely disregarding us, busy with setting up the venue, some, emboldened by alcohol, even started demanding that we pay attention to the head office staff. They only left just before the start time, having done nothing but hinder our preparations. Naturally, not a single one offered to help clean up, leaving us to deal with the aftermath that shouldn't have been necessary in the first place. Some of the staff, who were not heavy drinkers, were forced to drink and became incapacitated. As a result, fewer people were available to prepare for the party, and the progress and rehearsal checks for organizing the event were significantly delayed. Despite further delays in setting up the venue, the start time was fast approaching. Just when they returned, they began pointing out flaws in the party preparations as if looking for any excuse to criticize. Moreover, they unreasonably pressured us not to shift the scheduled time at all. Other employees who had finished their work joined in to help, but we were ultimately forced to start the event underprepared due to their constant interference. As expected, the party suffered from a lack of coordination, leading to frequent disruptions. Travis's subordinates, who had been a constant nuisance and rushed us, did not offer any support to us, the branch office staff managing the event. What's with this mess? You show too little respect for the company. How dare you start drinking before even finishing the preparations? Even during the party, they seized every opportunity to highlight our mistakes and mock us, turning us into the laughingstock at the drinking table. And this incident ended up affecting the branch's reputation for a while. Don't get ahead of yourselves just because you're in charge today. Know your place. Such useless people. It's a letdown, typical of a rural branch. Every time they laughed at us, I felt their gazes filled with sheer malice. This became even worse during the mingling time. Led by Lily, who had been heckling our mishaps, Travis's subordinates boldly approached us. "Thank you, country folks, for the poorly managed party. Quite fitting of you." Swallowed by their pace, we were disheartened by our own downfall. They, seemingly satisfied, began to openly express their true feelings, perhaps encouraged by the alcohol. Don't get cocky just because Travis introduced you. You can't even manage a single event properly. After all, what can you expect from someone with a low education and incompetence? Travis overestimated you. We heard you were capable, so we left the planning to you last minute, but this is all you could manage. I noticed why the instructions for the anniversary party were delayed until the last minute. It was all just harassment intended to make us fail. In the end, isn't it best just to silently work under the head office? Don't worry, we won't ask you to manage a party again. So, we had been deliberately sabotaged by them from the start. As they ranted, they left laughing. This was my first-hand experience of the infighting rumored to be rampant in the head office. 5 years since that incident. Thanks to the diligent efforts of everyone at the branch, our reputation gradually recovered. And I had been personally appointed by President Blackwood for a transfer to the head office. Honestly, I still harbored negative feelings towards the head office because of that incident. I felt burdened by this appointment, and my colleagues, who had shared the bitter experience, sympathized with me. However, an order from Mr. Blackwood himself was not reversible. The head office still seemed to be embroiled in succession conflicts and factionalism, complicating interpersonal relationships. The infighting affected work to the extent that it was hard to focus. The party incident had made it clear to me, and I expected such sabotage to be a daily occurrence at the head office. Compared to the head office, our branch was truly a paradise. Pulling myself together, I prepared myself for the inevitable. Eventually, the day came for me to start at the head office, and I began my rounds of greetings, including checking the layout of each department. Over the past 5 years, the situation had changed significantly. Travis had been ousted by his own subordinates and forced to resign. His former subordinates had since aligned themselves with different successors, and Lily was now working under Elijah Great Falls, a branch manager at the head office. When I finally visited Lily's department, where she was now a manager, she gave me a dubious look and immediately started berating me. "I thought I recognized you. You're the low-educated incompetent who messed up at the anniversary party." Despite her continued disdainful attitude, I politely greeted her in front of her subordinates. She continued to look down on me, treating me as a worthless rural bumpkin. "How do you find New York? Why don't you learn how to host a party before you leave? Though I guess that's unnecessary for you now." "I'm here to learn as much as I can," I responded without retaliating, simply deflecting her comments, which seemed to irk her even more. Incapable individuals apparently lacked the brain power to understand sarcasm. She muttered softly, blatantly rejecting me with her words. "Look, I'm busy. Could you please leave? There's no place here for low-educated incompetents like you," she said, looking down on me with unwarranted confidence, unaware of the turn of events that awaited her. I, however, met her gaze squarely. "That's actually my seat, Lily. Thank you for your service until now." What kind of joke is this?" Lily's face, fitting the phrase like a demon, grew increasingly displeased as she stood up abruptly. "Let me be clear, Lily. I am here under direct orders from Mr. Blackwood," I announced. Pulling the official order from my suit's breast pocket, I placed it before Lily so she could see for herself. "An official order has been issued for you as of today. I have been appointed as your successor." "What did you say?" Lily scrutinized the document closely, disbelief evident in her eyes. The order from Mr. Blackwood stated that Lily was being demoted and transferred to the branch where I was previously stationed. For her, who had been at the forefront of the fast track, this not only represented a significant step back but effectively meant being sidelined from the current competitive arena. "You've been calling others incapable, but isn't being highly educated yet incompetent even worse, don't you think?" I confronted her. As the new department head, I instructed Lily to pack up her belongings and clear the space by the end of the day. "That's my seat. Please clear it immediately. I need to get to work." "Stop being so noisy. Don't get too cocky." Lily yelled at me, but realizing she had no power in the situation, she stormed out of the department, frustration gripping her tightly. The department's employees, who had endured her tyranny for years, cheered as she left for her transfer. I managed to conclude my introductory greetings in the new department amidst a positive atmosphere. Later, Lily, unable to accept the contents of her transfer order, barged into the office of Elijah, the branch manager, without an appointment. "Elijah, what is the meaning of this?" she demanded. After carefully straightening out the crumpled order from Mr. Blackwood, Elijah examined it meticulously and responded calmly. "Lily, what seems to be the problem?" "This must be some mistake. I know it's presumptuous, but could you please check with Mr. Blackwood?" she pleaded. "There's no need for that. I've just verified it right in front of you. Or do you want me to repeat it?" Elijah countered. He then methodically explained the reasons behind the transfer order, citing numerous complaints from both within and outside her department, her poor reputation among clients, and the underperformance of her division, leaving no room for her to argue. "Fundamentally, you lack the basics in everything. Submitting documents to your superior in such a condition is a problem that goes beyond academic qualifications," he reprimanded. Stunned by her superior's harsh criticism, Lily was mercilessly dismissed. "I had always planned to remove those who unseat their superiors for their own gain," he added. Following her outburst, Lily was escorted out of the branch manager's office by security personnel. Left without any support or backing, Lily ultimately accepted her transfer. The next day, her desk was cleared out completely, not a single item left behind. Originally, When she first joined a company, she wasn't in such a dire state. However, her first superior, a man who harbored misogynistic views, felt threatened by her abilities and ambition, blatantly obstructing her at every turn. It was commonplace for her achievements to be stolen and mistakes to be pinned on her. The severity of the treatment she received likely served as a warning to others not to underestimate him. It seems that the superior became the catalyst for Lily's resolve to climb to the top at any cost. Eventually, she managed to unseat her superior and continued to ascend a corporate ladder by adopting similar tactics. After the dust had settled, I was invited to Elijah's home, where I, along with Travis, was briefed about the incident in the branch manager's office. "Joe, you've had a tough time with this. Did I make you draw the short straw? I know you're not fond of such matters," Travis remarked. "It's been a while, Uncle Travis," I replied. Both greeted me with a smile and appreciated my handling of the situation. In fact, I am distantly related to Travis and Elijah, sons of President Blackwood. My true background is known only to a limited number of people within the head office and branches. Mr. Blackwood has a history of multiple divorces, resulting in a large extended family with many half-siblings. Furthermore, the company is a family-run business with a penchant for favoritism among relatives. Adding fuel to the fire, the factional disputes among the candidates for the next president have been the primary cause of the swirling complexity in human relations, leading to further chaos. In such a tumultuous struggle for succession, someone distantly related like me would hardly catch anyone's attention. Even at family gatherings, where relatives meet under a seemingly harmonious atmosphere, a battle for supremacy within the clan is always underway. After all, both at the head office and at home, Dad is still active, fueling the competitive spirit among his sons. "They wouldn't easily concede," said someone. Mr. Blackwood himself, always seeking competition, has encouraged such battles among family members. Not resonating with this idea, I have always maintained a distance from the rest and upheld a neutral stance. Travis and Elijah, who found my unusual perspective intriguing, were the two people who took an interest in me. Despite being stepbrothers for Mr. Blackwood's ex-wives, they were good rivals yet shared a surprisingly close bond. A rarity among the otherwise tense and discordant family relations. Their factions were naturally competitive, but they themselves maintained a breezy demeanor, working as comrades in arms within the company. Lily and others who were subordinates of Travis probably didn't find a close relationship between these two amusing. Their scheming to bring down Elijah's side led to Travis's downfall. To avenge Lily, the main culprit behind her downfall, I was transferred to the head office. And it was Elijah who directly disciplined Lily, revealing the true nature of events. My decision to work at the local branch, aside from its proximity to home, was driven by my desire to avoid the nepotism and irrelevant skirmishes at the head office. Indeed, the branch I joined was an idyllic environment. Even though some at the branch knew of my background, they treated me equally without prejudice. However, after the incident at the party, I wished for an improvement in the head office's environment. If I could climb up the ranks based on merit, gaining recognition from others in the company besides family, it might be more acceptable to most. That's why I saw my transfer to the head office as an opportunity to make a difference. "By the way, is that the real reason you called me to the head office?" I asked. Upon hearing my question, Travis and Uncle Elijah exchanged glances and smiled. "Do you think this is all about favoritism?" This incident also provided me with some relief. I am grateful. Prompted by their response, I shared my true concerns. "I just hope the pervasive culture at the head office changes. I have no interest in joining factions just to sabotage others' work." Elijah, poised to be the top candidate for the next president, asserted confidently. "The branch you were at might have been ideal, but the head office is different. You'll understand once you work here." Travis, with a calming tone, advised me as if mediating. "Joe, things don't always happen at the timing we desire," he said, as if reminding himself more than me. "We can only try to turn the events that befall us into something positive, making the choices we've made the right ones." I felt a tinge of melancholy, sensing what lay ahead at the head office. "So, in the end, I'm just going to be used for various schemes, right?" I questioned. Elijah didn't confirm or deny my question. Travis, having distanced himself from the conflict after his downfall, quietly nodded and added, "Joe, you might be struggling now, but whether you end up being used or not is entirely up to you." Encouraged to do my best wherever I am, the conversation came to an end. Subsequently, I was assigned to a department under Elijah's faction at the head office. The work at the New York head office was vastly different from the branch, not just in tasks but in the sheer number of competitors we had to deal with. Of course, there were obstructions and petty sabotages from other factions. Perhaps understanding my genuine intentions, Elijah instructed us to proceed with integrity, leading by example through our work achievements. As a result, Elijah gained overwhelming support in the succession battle, and the interferences towards us significantly decreased. 3 years passed, and then came a turning point. Mr. Blackwood, who had been an active executive, passed away suddenly one morning. Following his unexpected demise, a grand funeral was held, and we all mourned his loss. In the subsequent executive meeting to decide the successor, Elijah, as widely anticipated by most outside the executive circle, secured over half of the support and was appointed the next president. As the new president, Elijah did a series of reforms at the head office, starting with abolishing nepotism in hiring and favoritism in work practices. The factions centered around family members remained intact even afterwards. However, as the favoritism towards relatives diminished, those without real ability began to be transferred one after another, leading to the gradual decline of factions. As employees with genuine skills were recognized for their work without relying on factions, they made significant advancements, greatly improving the company's internal atmosphere. Taking this as an opportunity, I often submitted requests for transfers. With the changes at the head office, I felt there was no longer a purpose for me to stay there. Becoming one of Elijah's trusted subordinates and contributing through my work achievements, I was promoted smoothly. However, realizing my lack of interest in further promotions, I declined any further advancement. I found myself missing the irreplaceable comfort of that branch. Occasionally, during business trips to the branch, I noticed that the personnel had changed, but the unique atmosphere and corporate culture remained unchanged. It was something special that even the improved head office couldn't offer. However, Elijah was reluctant to approve my transfer requests. The branch, being an exceptionally good workplace within the company, rarely saw people leave, and the lack of vacancies also played a part. Having been demotivated about my job at the head office for quite some time, I took a bold step and submitted my resignation. Upon seeing it, Elijah sighed. "I had hoped to show you the same vistas I've seen. Was the head office not appealing enough? I'm truly grateful to Mr. Great Falls for changing the bad practices at the head office, but my role here has ended. Could you please let me return to where I belong?" Mr. Great Falls took my resignation but didn't respond immediately. For the time being, I was given a month's leave by the president's order and went back to my hometown. During the leave, I fully moved out of my residence in New York and visited Mr. Great Falls' home before my leave ended to express my gratitude. At that time, we shared drinks not as a president and an employee but as relatives. We reminisced about Uncle Travis, who passed away suddenly before he could become president, and I expressed my gratitude and respect to Uncle Elijah once again. Later, having returned to my hometown, I found myself heading to my former branch in a suit once again. The personnel had changed quite a bit since my time there, and it seemed there were few who remembered me. Yet, the warm and comfortable corporate culture had been passed down unchanged. With a renewed spirit, I headed towards the entrance, grateful for the opportunity given by Mr. Great Falls. To my surprise, I was greeted by many familiar faces among the welcoming employees. Among them, my eyes caught a particular female employee. Holding a bouquet of flowers to welcome me was Lily, who had been transferred to the branch after I left. She seemed to have undergone a significant change in character since then. Initially, she caused quite a stir in the workplace. But as she adapted to the branch's environment, her ambition faded. The distrustful, tense relationships she had at the head office were nowhere to be found here. She shifted towards a life that valued a good balance between work and personal life, transforming into a completely different person. Her previously sharp demeanor softened, yet she retained a strong core, skillfully managing and helping those around her. Now in the secretarial department, her work is highly regarded not just within the company but also by clients. Her change was likely influenced by her marriage to a partner she met and fell in love with at the branch. Mr. Great Falls had concerns about Lily and me being in the same branch, but it was she who insisted on giving me the welcome bouquet. Regardless, seeing her happy and different from her time at the head office brought me relief. Approaching me with a smile, she warmly welcomed me. "Congratulations on your appointment as branch manager, Joe,"